Welcome everyone to Build Wealth with Araceli. And today we have another guest that is going to tell us a little bit about what got him into real estate. Welcome, Josh Green. Can you tell us more about what you're doing right now in real estate?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So I've done a lot of things in real estate, but what I'm doing right now is I have started a real estate development company, and we focus on building infill, so kind of smaller townhome rental communities.
Okay. Oh, well, that sounds exciting, but it sounds also very complicated, very difficult, right? So first of all, tell me, what did you do before doing real estate and what got you interested in real estate to begin with?
Yeah, so I've been working in real estate for almost 20 years in different capacities, and going all the way back to the thing that first got me interested in it is my grandparents owned the house next door to me growing up, and I would mow the lawn for their tenants,
Yeah.
and it just always fascinated me that someone was paying them money to live in their house, and that kind of always just stuck in my mind as I've done a handful of other things. I did some accounting and some other things for a while before getting into real estate, but yeah, that was the experience that kind of got me thinking about, wow, like
Yeah.
someone's paying them money to just live in this house, and
Yeah,
that was
that's
really
amazing,
interesting.
right? And you know what? Everybody has a different way to come. For me, it wasn't like that. Like I never saw anything like that in my family. In fact, I never wanted to become a real estate investor to begin with, but just a change in my career and in my personal life after getting divorced and knowing that I didn't have any more money coming in, I said, well, what do I do? And that kind of really caught my eye because of the way that it's structured, that you can
Mhm.
just leverage money and you can find properties and rent them out and get some money coming in. And that's what made you get started. But your story, I've heard it from many people, and sometimes they don't start right away, but they have that kind of in the back of their mind. So tell me, what
Yeah,
was the very first thing that you did in real estate?
yeah, it took me a while to figure out. Well, it took me almost 20 years to figure out what I wanted to do. And so the first real estate job that I took was with a developer that also had their own property management company, and
Mhm.
so I was a leasing agent at one of their properties, and it was good experience. It made me realize that property management was not what I wanted to do with my life. It's not a very glamorous job, but it's critical. In any investment. From there, I jumped into appraisal, and I knew that I didn't want to be a home appraiser. I wanted to be on the commercial side, and I was just kind of right place at the right time. Ended up working for a guy who I didn't know at the time, but he's kind of the regional apartment multifamily expert in our areas.
Mhm.
I'm in the Salt Lake City, Utah area, and I started out as his assistant and worked for him. I ended up working for him for about 11 years, doing multifamily appraisal and consulting. So half of my job was appraisal, and the other half was consulting, working with developers and helping them figure out what to do with their property.
Yeah.
And that's what really, working on those projects as a consultant is what really got me interested in development and wanting to do that on my own.
Well, that is amazing because you know what? A lot of people have asked me, where do I get started, right? And what I always tell them is you need to get involved in one way or another. And you told me you did property management and then you did appraisal, and all of
Mhm.
those are part of parcel of doing real estate. But guess what? You have to find your niche, what you like doing,
Yes.
and you are not going to know until you're actually doing it, right? And
Yeah.
each one of these things are crucial for real estate. Property management, if you're going to have rentals, you need to have a good property manager to be working with you. But if that's not what you want to do, you need to understand what they do so you know exactly how to spot a good one. And there's some people that's what they do for a living and they enjoy it, right?
Right.
It's not for everybody. But that is basically the transition that I always suggest people that they've never been in real estate. Get involved at any level that you can possibly can, because it might not even be for you at all. So if you want to just give it a try, just to start with something that you have available to you. Now, tell me, Josh, in your career as a real estate investor, what has been the biggest difficulty that you've found?
Oh, the biggest difficulty. Well, right now it's raising money, and I think a lot of people, at the time we're talking, are really nervous about the market and where things are headed with interest rates and property valuation and all those things. And so the biggest challenge for me right now is raising, as it takes money to invest in real estate, and sometimes a lot of money depending on the size of the project. And so that's been the hardest thing for me, right now. And then the other piece of that is just, I've tried to start my own thing several times through my career, and I thought that I could do it myself. And that's another thing that I've learned is, that it's hard to do everything your own, and you need to have good people around you with complementary skills, and really focus in on what you're good at, and let other people help you with the other things.
Absolutely. But you know what? First of all, you need to know what you need, get done, and then start finding those people to fill those spots. Yeah, it is very hard. But going back to raising capital, one of the things that a lot of investors were going to run into, and this is kind of inevitable, because what happens is that you may have a little bit of money, you get started, and now you have either a fix and flip or you got a rental, but you have money tied up in that project. Eventually, no matter how much money you have, you're going to run out of money.
Exactly. Yep.
So one of the skills that real estate investors need to have is the ability to raise capital. At some point or another, in whatever point you are in your career, whoever is watching right now, you're going to need that skill. So that's actually one of the things that I help my people do, is to learn how to raise capital. And this is a skill that it's developed over time, but at the same time, you have to have certain things that you need to do in order to have to get to that point to raise capital. And of course, a little bit of experience will help, that's for sure, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, you said that you have right now you're working on a project, right? So what is it about? What is happening there?
Yeah, so we just started construction at the end of last year on a 20-unit townhome rental community. It's in
Mm.
a small city, but really fast population growth, a lot of job growth. There's a university there, and that's exactly what we look for when we look for new projects. Is we want to see good growth fundamentals, and we like to find places where there's an imbalance in the growth and the supply of housing. And that's the case here. Is it's a place with a lot of growth in students, jobs, population, but the rental housing hasn't kept up with that growth.
Yeah.
So that's the
I
perfect place
think,
for us to invest. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, well, I think that this problem is happening all over the US. In certain areas, there have a lot of growth, and there is like the infrastructure, which is, part of it is the rentals are not keeping up with it, right?
Yep.
I work in the Ohio market, and this is what is happening there. I started there about 10 years ago, and in the last couple of years, right after COVID, everything just like a lot of people started moving there, and there's a lot of, like, I see a lot of constructions on the clinics and everything else. So that's when that you need to get going with some of the projects like you're
Yeah.
doing right now. And then also understand that whatever you're going to invest, you need to do your due diligence, find out exactly what is happening. Like you mentioned, the market, how the market is, how it's going, the economy is moving into that area, what exactly it is. And sometimes you really need to have a little bit of it's just like a little crystal ball. Like, you're going to say, okay, this is happening. So what is going to happen for me if I want to do fix and flips, if I want to do rentals, if I want to do new construction, right? So do you feel something like that when you're selecting the area that you're going to be working?
Yeah, that's the hardest part is, the crystal ball, and you do the best with what you know, and no one knows exactly what's going to happen, but we do as much work as we can, gathering information about the market and what's happening, what the supply is, what other properties are renting for, and we use that to and just our experience doing the same thing in other places, to make the best guess we can. And yeah, it would be nice to have a crystal ball and see
Yeah.
exactly where things were headed, right? But no one really knows. And so yeah, you do your due diligence exactly like you said, and you do the best with what you know today.
Exactly. Obviously, sometimes you do have to go with your gut feeling because also that is a skill that you develop, but you don't develop that until you've done many deals. And I tell
Right.
you, in my last deal, I had it with a partner, and he said, "No, I think that we missed the market. We're gonna lose money because now the material is too much. If we repair this property, we're not gonna sell it. We're not gonna make any money, right?"
Mhm.
And there was something in me saying, no, I don't think so. I think that, we're going to be making money, but we just need to put a plan in place and stuff like that. And he said no. So I ended up buying him out because I had this idea. I just had this feeling that something was going to be good. And I am so glad I did because I made actually one of the best transactions money wise that I've done. And believe me, I just did it with the gut feeling because I
Yeah.
didn't, I didn't have anything else to go by, right? To kind of validate what I was feeling. So sometimes you do take that, but I obviously don't recommend to do it, if you've never done any transactions. But doing your due diligence and basing on facts, I think that's the best way. And as you said, there is not really a guarantee that that's going to work, but you have the higher chances to get that transaction making money, which is one of the things that obviously you want to do in real estate.
Yeah, just going back to what you said earlier about, you need to start somewhere, because a lot of what you're talking about, I mean, that's a great story about trusting your gut, and those kind of instincts, I think, come with experience. And so to unfortunately, I think to gain that experience, you have to start, somewhere, and you have to have some wins and some losses, and be able to learn from those things before, you can really trust your gut the way that it sounds like that you have. And it just, goes to show how important, working with the right partners are too, that have experience, that know the local market, and what's going on, that it just increases your chances of having the deal go right, and making money, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Now, if you were going to recommend something to somebody new that doesn't know where to start, what would you tell them now, knowing what you know today?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's starting, with a fix and flip, or something like that, where maybe it doesn't take quite as much money to get into something like that, but you're also getting all the hands-on experience. As you know, there's a lot of pieces involved in any type of real estate investment, but and so going back to what you said before too about finding what you're good at and what you like doing something like a fix and flip, or investing with a general partner on a bigger project, and just being able to learn the process, seeing all what's involved, how things work, how they come together. I think your first deal is probably, maybe making money is secondary, but it's more about the experience and the knowledge and learning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I am with you because I love doing fix and flips. That's one of my things that I enjoy. I can see when I look at the house, I can tell you, like, you know what, if we open up this wall, if we do this, this is how it's going to look like. And so far, it's working very well. When people come into the places that I finish, I said, "Oh my God, this is amazing! I love it! Wow!" Right? And I have been very blessed that my houses sell usually within 3 weeks. That's it, right?
Wow.
Because
Yes.
what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let people see, especially the end buyer, those are the people that we serve the most because most of them, they don't understand when they see a dilapidated property, they say, "Ugh, how do I do this? Where do I start?" Right? And that's how, as real estate investors, we make money by having that little bit of a vision. And if
Yep.
you are inspiring, the audience, you're aspiring to become a real estate investor, your view of things have to change a little bit. Because when I see a house that is dilapidated but it's in the right spot and it has the right footprint, I get so excited. And people say, "Oh my God, this is awful." Right? But I think you probably can relate to this, Josh.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You have to have, a little bit of a vision. And yeah, I love that you see that in the projects that you look at. That's where the opportunity is in those old dilapidated houses. And for me as a developer, I look at a piece of land and I think, what could be here? Like, what does this community need? And so there's that part of it is really fulfilling. I mean, we all want to make money, right? But money aside, that's really fulfilling to take something and improve it or create something that wasn't there before. That's part of what gets me excited about real estate investment and development specifically.
Yeah, you are very similar, and I think that most real estate investors have this, I would say, having the vision and converting something into something else.
Mhm.
For me, that's a thrill to do because if I'm able to see it before somebody else can, that's how you make money. But at the same time, that creativity, it's what really, for me, and
Yeah,
for what, I talk to a lot of investors, and I find that thread, that you want to really make something or transform something into something else, right?
right.
In your case, you're taking something that there's nothing there and you're putting something and creating a community and building all these things, and you have it all in your head. And with me, it's just taking something that looks awful into something that is really beautiful and that people can live in and it's practical, right? So that
Yeah.
it's amazing. I really enjoy our chat, Josh. And just one more time, I know that you are right now looking to raise some capital, right, for your project. How do the audience contact you if they want to find out more about it?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for asking. The best place to get a hold of me is on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I
Okay.
post a lot of content there, updates on our projects. So that's probably the best place to get a hold of me. You can also go to our website, which is www.thetraverseway.com. And we have some resources and things there, and you can see kind of active opportunities that we have as well.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Well, thank you very much for being here and sharing your experience with the audience. And by the way, everybody, if you want, all of the information would be posted, in just case you can't find him, because I know it is hard. Sometimes you have that you Google the name and you can't find anybody with the same, or you find 20 people with the same name.
Yeah.
So we're gonna post all the links so you can look at Josh's website, and his also the link to his LinkedIn account so you can get in touch with him. Please make sure that you let them know that you saw it here at Build Wealth with Araceli, and that you can, make sure that you subscribe, because when we bring people like Josh, it's an immense amount of experience, and there is a lot of opportunity for people that are looking to partner up if you're looking for a passive investment. So thank you, Josh, for being here. I really appreciate your time, experience, and sharing all of this with us. So make sure that you contact him if you found something interesting that Josh is doing right now. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time, Josh.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been really nice to talk to you.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks.